Todd, you're a vampire anyway. You're up all night. That's your normal state of
Pretty
being.
much. I have my cutoff time for caffeine. I don't drink. I go to bed around 6:30, 7 o'clock, so I stop drinking caffeine around 3 or 4 a.m.
I don't know if I could adapt to that graveyard shift lifestyle. The only times I've really experienced it are like when I was forced to I've had to do a couple New Year's Eve shifts, which are not fun.
New Year's is always the worst to work anyway, but that's another story.
Everybody shooting cable lines with guns and fireworks for no reason.
Pretty much.
It's America. That's patriotism at its finest right there.
It's your freedom.
If you don't shoot fireworks off, you hate America.
Are you really happy that we're independent? I mean,
the terrorists win if you don't cut out the cable and internet for the whole block. All right, we're not here to talk about work. We're here to talk about important, nerdy shit because it is Sunday night, and this is a Getting Off Topic podcast.
Woo.
Tony,
there's Todd.
It's Andrew
and Meg.
Yeah, got a full house tonight. Mr. Andrew. Oh, damn it! I keep forgetting. I keep telling myself I'm gonna look up like a phone app where I can find crappy DJ sounds.
Same.
I always forget the last minute. I'll just splice them in later in editing. Anyway, yes, we got a full house tonight. Mr. Andrew is back. Got a Meg here to maybe pay attention to one part of the podcast she's interested in. Mm-hmm. And how you guys doing? What's going on tonight?
Doing good. Doing nothing.
It's Sunday night. Getting back.
How's the week been? What you plan? Todd, let's start with you. Todd, what are you actively playing during the podcast tonight?
I am playing. So I decided to start every couple of months. I go through a phase where I say I need to go through my Steam backlog and play something different because invariably I always play the same 5-6 games. So today I am playing Pathfinder Kingmaker, which is it's a CRPG, which is basically a D&D game, but in video game form. So like Baldur's Gate, Pillars of Eternity, Tyranny, or even Knights of the Old Republic. Knights of the Old Republic is basically a D&D pen and paper, but in video game form. Right. So it's a game like that.
Cool. All right.
No other new games. I started watching The Walking Dead, or Fear the Walking Dead. So.
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, I did that, and I also started watching Black Sails. Love it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's hard for me to watch it though because I really want to pay attention to it
But boobs.
Yeah, that's not one to multitask to. That deserves your attention.
Exactly. You need to pay attention to it. And the majority of the time that I watch shows are either while I'm working or while I'm playing a video game. Mm-hmm. And so, no, I've only watched 2, maybe 3 episodes so far because I really want to pay attention to it.
Yeah, that story is really in depth. There's a lot of layers to it.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing in season 1 will come back to you later on in the show.
Yeah,
that's what I figure.
It is good to pay attention, but that intro is so beautiful. It's one of my favorite intros ever.
It's really good. Meg, did you watch Shameless?
Not yet. Sorry.
Okay. I can't get over the badass villain captain is fucking Jody from Shameless.
Okay.
He just plays a shitty, just an awful douchebag character that the only reason he exists is to have sex with every woman around.
No.
Jody from Shameless.
Why don't you actually look up the name?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
I think that's his
Silverman. Zach McGowan. Oh, him.
Oh, Mr. Abby McAbs.
Yeah. He also did a spot. He was one of the main henchmen to some big bad in the last couple seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think.
It weirds me
Yeah.
out because the voice that he uses in Black Sails is not his normal voice.
He rasps it up a bit.
I am a pirate, in case you didn't know.
Although the one thing that kind of like turned me off with him and his character is that he always looks really dirty or greasy. Like I imagine that he hasn't showered in weeks on end.
They all do. They're all pirates.
I know. That's why I'm like, they're hot, but I wouldn't have sex with any of them.
That makes two of us.
Like God only knows when they last took a bath or whatever or went in the ocean.
That's always been your MO. You like the dirty, like grizzled, like fucking like Harley rider looking dude with a grizzled beard and just like, you know, all that stuff. You like the aesthetic, but you wouldn't. But in reality, you prefer
clean,
much high. Yeah, all the hygiene.
I like my people
which
hygienic.
is why yeah.
Is that so wrong?
No, not at all. Andrew, how about you? What have you consumed this past week?
Let's see. The new season for Destiny came out. So the Season of the Lost, which is so far really good. The last couple seasons, they've really stepped it up with storytelling, and it's getting to a really good kind of fever pitch with the next big expansion, The Witch Queen, coming out in February of this next year. So I'm really looking forward to that. This season will be going all the way until then. So luckily, it's not like a mad dash to finish everything, you know, like it sometimes can be. But I can kind of take my time and lazily play through these next 6 months. I think. Yeah. So that'll be cool. Yeah, that's my go-to video game for years on years now. As for watching anything, I'm trying to think. I think I talked about Centaur World last podcast I was on. We rewatched that again because it's just quite entertaining. And just kind of the usual. Lego Masters is something I watch repeatedly. We're watching that again, I think, tonight, getting caught up on it. And the new season of Ted Lasso dropped as well, which is another one I highly, highly recommend. This season, I feel like, doesn't have as good of an overarching storyline, but it's still really enjoyable. Awesome. They're doing a really good job with it. So
another acclaimed series that I'll have to eventually pay for a month of Apple TV for. Yeah, I want to check that one out eventually. And Rob McElhenney's Mythic Quest.
Oh yeah. They finished that second season. That one was really good as well. We'll see if they even come back for a third season. You know, without any spoilers, they haven't been told that they have been picked up again. So it ended at a place where it could kind of go either way. So we'll see. I hope
is it because they don't have Danny DeVito?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a big driving force in It's Always Sunny.
I know. He's probably what helped save it.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
Oh, well, he did. That's well documented that they probably wouldn't have had a season 2 if they didn't bring on Danny DeVito.
Yeah.
If it worked the first time, it'll work a second time.
Yeah.
So good.
Just saying.
Yeah. Meg and I have just been doing our usual, pretty much just Bojack Horseman, still going on with that in the second to the last season now, I think. 6 seasons.
We're on season 5.
Yeah. We actually made a pact together within the last day or two, just because we've been saying it for a while, but we're like, man, we gotta cut back on the TV because that's just our default. It's so easy. Like I finish working, by the time we, eat and take care of the rabbits and whatever, we sit down on the couch and said, well, the default is just turn on the TV. So we actually literally set out a schedule that we have written on the fridge to like dedicate nights to other shit. So, Mondays and Tuesdays are my days off. So that's kind of free for all, like, cause maybe we'll have plans, maybe we don't, whatever. And we do whatever we want. But then I think Wednesdays are going to be like board game nights. We're going to have, so like a board game night together, a reading night, maybe another night for like projects because there's stuff I want to get around to, like creative stuff, like maybe finally getting back to writing again, or picking up my guitar or something once in a while. But yeah, we're gonna try to spread it out because we've got like a bookshelf overflowing of stuff that's just collecting dust, and video games too. I've still been slowly on my days off getting around to finishing Doom Eternal, because I got on sale. I got the whole thing with the main campaign and the 2 DLCs, so I'm on the last DLC. But yeah, that's pretty much it for us. And then we together with you and Shannon went and saw Free Guy.
Oh, so good.
Yeah,
So I forgot about that. Oh man,
Todd, highly cannot recommend it enough. That was better than I think any of us expected. And we already knew, like, oh, it's Ryan Reynolds, it's going to be fun, but it was ridiculously good. I think the Ryan Reynolds producing partner, I forget his name off the top of my head, Steve something, but I think he was one of the same main producers as Deadpool. And I mean, it shows. It's just like him combined with Ryan Reynolds, like style of humor, and it's like there were scenes out of this movie that very much felt like, oh, this could be straight out of Deadpool. Same sort of vibe, but also a bit more for all ages, or mostly family friendly. But yeah, it's hard to even say much without giving it away, but you just go watch it.
You don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, it was out in there.
Only that, but a lot of the jokes only land if you've seen it.
Yeah, when you're watching in the moment. Tons of cameos in there as well. Some very subtle, some in your face, and everything is a joy with that movie. Just go freaking watch it. That is if you feel comfortable going to the theater to watch. I don't think it's streamed. I don't think that was also streaming one. It's just theater.
No. Most of the films that are coming out right now are straight to or theater only.
Okay.
So we haven't hit the we haven't gone back to streaming except for a couple of WB movies.
Yeah,
I think
Dune
is still coming out on HBO Max.
Yeah, that's another same day exclusive. I think the Matrix 4 will also be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's still, I think that's still next year.
That's a ways away. Yeah. Are they filming that still?
No, yeah, I think next year. Yeah, I'm mistaken. Because that's going to be next year, and the ones for next year, they're doing the 45-day exclusivity. They reached that deal with theaters, so the first 45 days in theaters only, and then it hits streaming. So, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but yes, everyone highly recommend go check out Free Guy if you can. Or wait till streaming, but either way, go see it as soon as you can. Todd, I know you would love to talk about Marvel's What If, episode 3.
Oh, did that come out? I haven't seen the third one yet.
You haven't seen the third one? It's really solid. I really enjoyed it. Maybe the first two episodes, the first 2 stories had a bit more kick to them.
Okay.
I mean,
especially the premise of this one.
So this one, episode 3, this kind of does a retelling of the beginnings of the MCU. Kind of covers Iron Man 2, Hulk, Thor 1, and essentially a murder plot is happening. Do you care if I spoil what happens, or should we?
I would like to watch. Don't go too far down.
Okay.
The title of the episode, and this happens within the first few minutes of the episode, is what if Marvel loses its strongest Avengers?
Yeah. So the Avengers, someone is plotting to end the Avengers before they begin.
Okay.
That's the premise. And it goes off into crazy directions. There's some really great cameos, which if I say them, I will spoil the plot. But that's another one. Definitely check it out for sure.
There's a lot of good references, and for the first time in forever, they actually referenced the Incredible Hulk film.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Edward Norton or the
Edward
old Eric
Norton
Bana
one.
one?
Yeah. No, not the
No.
old Eric Bana. That's
Okay.
not part
Yeah,
of the
that's not
MCU at all.
MCU.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they had Norton one, but in this case, it's animated to look like Ruffalo now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like the amount of cameos in the first show. They were all voice acted, I feel like, legitimately. So that was
almost every single original actor has returned, whether it's a big part or a small part, except for a very small few here and there. If you saw the first 2 episodes.
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so Chris Evans did not return as skinny Steve Rogers.
Was Chris Pratt the hot dog house worker or whatever? I don't think so.
He's working at the Dairy Queen. Yeah, he grows up since he didn't get kidnapped by Yondu. Yeah, no, that wasn't Chris Pratt for his very, very brief moment. Kurt Russell, though.
Yeah, it was Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it was Kurt Russell.
Yeah, no Chris Pratt and no Dave Bautista as Drax working in the bar, the space bar.
That's right. Okay.
Which was fantastic anyway. But
no Brie Olson as
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Brie Larson.
Was Captain Marvel in one of the, I don't even remember her in that episode.
That might have been a spoiler.
Episode 3.
Yeah, that might have been a spoiler. Sorry.
Right.
Very, very minor spoiler in episode.
No, it's fine. No, that's nothing. That's not a spoiler.
No, yeah. But yeah, other than those, like pretty much everybody, like even little side characters, like
Digimon Hanzu came back for the beginning of him getting that power gem. That was awesome. I like that.
I can never remember that character's name, but he's the guard who comes and and I love how he's so enamored with him as opposed to Peter Quill Star-Lord.
He actually knows it's Star-Lord. He's like, can I really fight you? Can I? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm your biggest fan. Yeah. Even Denai Guerrera as Okoye when they show up to Wakanda and the palace and everything. Like she literally has one line. She's there talking because Thanos is talking her ear off about how his plan would have worked.
It's so efficient. It's efficient. Yeah.
We talked about that actually on the last week's podcast, and I was saying it's hilarious how with reformed Thanos in that version of events, which by the way, the entire universe is so much better off with
T'Challa.
Star-Lord, I think I can remember his name. Yeah. Like reforms Thanos. But yeah, I was cracking up because I had an epiphany. Oh my God. Like Thanos is like ending half of the universe life and everything, like this genocidal plan of a madman has been reduced down to a talking piece. Like it's his jump to conclusions, Matt. It's like his dream that he never got to see through.
I like how it actually followed the meme too of like, hey, you don't have to kill everyone, just create double resources and it's good, or whatever the ploy was that he talked to him about.
Yeah, I still think my plan was pretty solid, but T'Challa here, showed me that how to reallocate resources and stuff. Everything's good. Yeah. Yeah. Now, the big news, since we're talking MCU, that we should get around to is that frickin' Spider-Man No Way Home. Spider-Man trailer. Huh.
That was a lot.
It was indeed.
That was a lot of good times. As promised, we got our de-aged Alfred Molina.
Yeah.
Smiling for the camera as Doc Ock. We did not see him actually, but we saw the Green Goblin's one of his little bombs.
There were hints at all of the Sinister Six, except for I think one of them.
You hear his cackle, you hear his laugh as the bomb drops. And I still have to go back and watch it again, but people said that Electro was confirmed as well.
There's a little scene with like some lightning or something that very much resembles Electro's powers.
Okay. Yeah, from the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which I did not care for at all, but oh well, fine.
Never saw that one.
It's a meme flick. The only people that like it for the memes.
Yeah, whatever.
I think Lizard was also possibly hinted at or confirmed in some of the stills and stuff that people.
Who was that?
The Lizard.
Oh,
the Lizard.
I think pretty much all of the Sinister Six. Let's see.
Oh, that'd be crazy. Oh yeah, I think I read that at some points. Like it looks like a very quick clip, like in the middle of a fight scene or something on the streets, and like Peter turns around and there's like some sort of like subtle like growl, like a animal growl or something. So people thought, oh, that's probably the lizard.
There was one where, like, in one of the pictures, he has like a big kind of like scratch across his chest. So people are like, oh, that could be.
Okay, there you go.
Jumping to conclusions as they do.
Yeah. Fans are also convinced that that we do have our Matt Murdock, Charlie Cox, Daredevil back in there. There's a brief scene where because Peter's going through all the legal trouble, and it looks like he's in an interrogation room, like at a police station, and somebody like slaps down some paperwork. There's like a shirt,
hairy armed.
hairy arms with a shirt tucked up and everything, like going over his face or something. So we're assuming
the black thin tie, which Matt Murdock likes to wear.
Yeah. There's even people that I think there was even suggestion that there's some tracking shot with Peter like walking through maybe to a courthouse or police station or something, and there's kind of an empty space off to the side, and they're assuming that he was edited out of the trailer so as not to spoil it. Yeah. And there was also, I haven't watched it yet, but I did see a headline. Apparently there's somebody immediately did their own version of the trailer, recreated it with clips from the 90s Spider-Man animated show. I just sent you a link to it. Yeah. But yeah, it's looking pretty damn good. Oh, and there was also a little a still that was released on Twitter that kind of went viral, and it appeared to show, it seemed to be Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield like suited up like in front of a green screen of some kind. It's blurry, but I don't know how credible it is or not, but people are assuming it's all the Spider-Mans.
I mean, that would be cool if they fold them into, the multiverse now. This is, if there's any time for it, this is the perfect opportunity to start grabbing those, X-Men, put them in there. Fantastic Four, whatever.
That's another one of the big rumors that are going around right now. There's two big rumors that Strange 2 is going to introduce the X-Men.
So
there's two rumors. The first more credible rumor, the one that came from somebody who's actually leaked credible information about Matrix 4, who's with the release of the trailer, that has been proven right. It's not a public release. They released it at something. I think it was Cannes or a film festival, CinemaCon. Oh, CinemaCon.
Yeah, CinemaCon. There's tons of headlines from CinemaCon this week.
I haven't seen a leaked version of it yet, but the people that have watched it have confirmed that the leaks from this guy were true.
Yeah.
He is saying that we're going to get Professor X and the I can't remember, the Illuminati, which basically is going to have Professor X. It's going to have
Reed Richards.
Well, we're not going to see Reed Richards yet.
Oh, not yet?
He's in it, but in this version, it's going to be Professor X.
Strange, right?
No, not Strange. This is the this is a different version of it. But Strange is it's going to be in Strange's film, so I can't imagine he won't join. Yeah. Captain Britain's going to be in it. Well, Captain Carter is going to be in it, and then let's see, who else did he say?
I didn't see all of that. What the rumor that I heard was a bit more minimal. It was saying that I think it was the insider guy who usually is right about these things, Daniel Reichman, something like that. But there were reports saying that Wanda, because we know, of course, Wanda's story ties into Strange, would be, quote, locked in combat with someone from the Foxverse, aka, one of the X-Men. And there were later separate reports that supposedly Marvel wanted to bring back Wolverine, wanted to bring back Hugh Jackman.
Oh yeah.
And so the people are tying these rumors together, like, oh man, we almost would have had Strange 2, like a Wolverine versus Scarlet Witch fight, which actually did happen in one of the What If comics way back in the day, 1989, What If comic number 25, where Wanda brutally annihilates Logan by basically turning his molecules into antimatter, like explodes him like a Ghostbuster that just crossed the streams. But yeah, so I don't know how much credence there are to those rumors, but the main point of it was that someone from the Foxverse would be entering into this movie. So
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So the rumored lineup of the Illuminati in this version is going to be Professor X, Captain Carter, Balder the Brave, Monica Rambeau, and Mordo, Baron Mordo.
Interesting. Because that's not the Illuminati that I remember from the
No,
comic. So
That's
Mhm.
definitely not the original makeup of the Illuminati. Another rumor is
That makes sense that they would adapt it because Baron Mordo, we still have him, like a cliffhanger with him out for blood at the end of the first Strange movie.
there's also rumors that Namor will be introduced in like a teaser cameo because he's the leader of the Illuminati.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Like he's
I forgot
rumored
about
to be Namor is rumored to be the main villain in Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
So introducing him in like a teaser or a mid credits or in credits kind of way would make sense.
Mhm.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Speaking of Black Panther 2, by the way, there were a couple of headlines this past week. First off, Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri, she apparently had some sort of accident on set, some sort of stunt equipment. They said it was like some sort of minor injury, but she did have to go to the hospital and get treated or whatever. They're keeping it kind of mum, but that was, a little like oof midweek. And then there were a few leaks, I think, on Twitter, a couple photos showing the return of Martin Freeman as Everett Ross, and supposedly in a scene where he's meeting up with Riri Williams. Our first look at her, Dominic Thorne playing Riri Williams, aka the character who becomes Ironheart, kind of a genius whiz kid who builds her own Iron Man armor, and kind of takes up the mantle in her own way.
That makes me wonder: are they making her Wakandan, or is she just visiting Wakanda?
Don't know. Well, the filming took place this past week at MIT, possibly where she's attending school. Don't know if that's actually. I don't know if they'll make it some sort of fictional school in the MCU verse, or if it's just MIT.
I think they've used MIT in the past. Isn't the school that Tony Stark was at for Iron Man 3? Wasn't that MIT?
Civil War, right?
You're thinking the beginning of Civil War.
Oh, the beginning of Civil War, yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the speech. Might have been, I forget.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
Because didn't he say like everybody here is getting their education paid for free or whatever like that.
Project greenlit, basically.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Tuition's on me. Yeah.
That's how they could easily tie Riri to Stark.
Yeah, that works. I didn't think about that. Good catch. Yeah. And speaking of more fun stuff on Twitter, so it's interesting the evolution of what's been going on here, where since Endgame, we kind of expected all the OG Avengers to bow out because, obviously Cap and Iron Man stories were done. Black Widow. Then surprise, we're getting Thor Love and Thunder. Awesome. So he's here to stay, at least for now. We're going out with a bang. Hawkeye will get his series coming up pretty soon, and it seems like he's going to be passing the mantle off to Kate Bishop. But our boy the Hulk seems like he's still making the rounds. He's not quite done yet. So we know already, confirmed, that he's part of She-Hulk, which makes sense. And then this week, I don't know if it was earlier today or last few days, apparently a random MCU fan was in Budapest, right in front of a hotel where I guess the Moon Knight series is currently filming, and just happened to see Oscar Isaac passing by, not filming, right? He was just in street clothes, and just like, oh my God, hi, can I get a selfie? Which they did. So you see Oscar Isaac happily, posing with a fan. So that post goes online on Twitter. And within the span of an hour or less, another one, a follow-up with same girl, same MCU fangirl, managed to spot Mark Ruffalo walking right by the same hotel.
Interesting.
Yeah. So our boy Bruce Banner slash Smart Hulk, or whatever we're supposed to call him now, could be hanging with Moon Knight.
I think it's back to Hulk.
Or
I don't remember which set he was seen on, but there are images or rumors of him being just normal Bruce Banner again in one of the upcoming films or shows.
Because there's a different color, but Mr. Fix-It, I believe, was a Smart Hulk as well in the comics that actually was a thing for a time. So I wonder if they would at all go that route. But I guess not if he's back to just human Bruce Banner form.
I don't think they're going to introduce multiple Hulks yet.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be a ways away until Ruffalo is done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, I didn't realize we're like 1 week away from Shang-Chi.
Yeah, it already had its premiere. A few screenings. Well, we had the major premiere, and then like it had a limited 1 day run at specific theaters.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is saying it's amazing.
Yeah, early reviews are overwhelmingly positive, saying Marvel did it again. And very much for martial arts movies go, they said it's a stunning martial arts epic. So
good. If it was anything short of that, then it would have been a travesty.
Yeah, no.
Marvel has had fucking bad reputation with fucking Iron Fist and their choreography.
Yeah, no Iron Fist season 1. Oh, that would be horrible. That'd be not good. Yeah, but yeah, I'm getting excited for that one. Again, I know nothing of the Shang-Chi lore or anything other than as I'm vaguely aware of what I've read the descriptions about the 10 rings and stuff, but I've never dove into the comics before. I didn't really know what to expect other than just a typical Marvel good time. But
they're powered down Infinity Stones, basically.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. I'm down. Let's see. I think that's about all I had for our good old MCU. I know we never talk enough about that. A random fun one that I saw. Actually, we saw with Free Guy in the theaters. They had the trailer for the Kingsmen. So this one is
the Kingsman.
The Kingsman. That's
Singular.
not confusing at all. So in the Kingsman franchise, this is movie number 3. However, it's a prequel going to the origins of the organization. Right. They're basically doing what Underworld did. They did movie 1, 2, and I just realized I had never saw that second Kingsman movie. It looked like fun.
It's good. Yeah.
And number 3 is the prequel story, and they're still planning an official Kingsman Part 3 to come down the road. And I guess in an interview with Matthew Vaughn, I think is the director of these.
Correct.
Yeah. He said there's elements in the prequel. The reason they're telling the prequel story because parts of that storyline tie into launching part 3. I only saw the first one once, but I remember I really enjoyed it, and I don't know why the second one just passed me by. I never got a chance to watch it.
Good actiony fun.
Yeah,
they're really good. Colin Firth and Mark Strong both do a really good job in their roles in that. So
I thought I remembered Colin Firth dying in the first one, but somehow they keep bringing him back.
I mean, I want to say that sounds correct, and that in the second one he's just miraculously kind of appears again, but with an eye patch.
Oh, okay. They don't bother to explain it. Just now, your movie needs more Firth.
But you got to kind of suspend your disbelief, a little bit, of course. But,
yeah. Oh, the bullet went this way.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got one other giant bit of news. It's the biggest one near and dear to my heart this week that we have to talk about. the first images for Netflix's live action Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
That was a big
That-
one.
that
And
looked pretty damn clean.
yeah, the more I see about this show, the more I am getting excited for it. It's like very cautious optimism at first because I want to be optimistic about it, and then we started seeing, just reading about how John Cho was involved. He's great. And then the big one for me a few months back was the announcement that the original composer was coming back to do the music, which that seals the deal for me because there's no Bebop without Yoko Kanno, I believe his name. And then we got these, so we got these few preview images with the main cast. And there was, so apparently, of course, because the internet's going to do what the internet's going to do. Immediately, there's some jerks ragging on Daniela Pineda, who is playing Faye Valentine. And like, oh, her costume's not accurate. Oh, she doesn't look the part, blah, blah, blah. She's not Faye, whatever. And I just saw yesterday morning, showed the YouTube clip to Meg. So Daniela Pineda, in a very classy form, replied back to all the snarky critics online, just dripping with sarcasm. Just, oh guys, I'm so sorry. Like, we really tried. The producers of the show really tried to find someone to match Faye's impossible inhuman physique. The 6 foot tall, double D's, 2-inch waist. They tried, but they just couldn't find one. Oh, crazy. And then, obviously the outfit is, Faye's original outfit from this anime from 1998 is not very PC today. So, she's a bit more covered up. And again, Daniela Pineda was like, yeah, and for the critics of the costume, we tried the original, but it was so tight that it started getting sucked into places of my body never to be seen again. And also, you just can't do action scenes while wearing tissue paper. So it's just great. It's great how she just took it in stride and just said fuck off, basically.
I'm a pretty big fan of that series, and I wasn't sure how this was gonna work out when it was all in theory with John Cho as Spike and it being live action, but I'm getting excited.
Yeah, I think that's going to be fun. And that we do have a date for that, don't we? November 19th.
Oh, it's gonna be soon then.
Yep.
Okay.
That's coming up. Yeah. Yeah, I know they mentioned before, the creators, that they're definitely going to recreate some iconic moments from the show, but they're also going to expand, of course, in their own, original storylines. So we'll see. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I might be going crazy because this is off topic a little bit, but did I hear talks that Akira was gonna also get some sort of live action adaptation or something on Netflix as well, that either is still going through or just got shot down?
That's been in the works for like 10 years.
Right? Okay.
So
Akira.
Akira,
Yeah.
yeah, that's been up and down, canceled, back on, retooled, rewritten, new person pushing it.
Yeah.
For a long time, Keanu Reeves was really trying to push it.
I think I remember hearing something like Leonardo DiCaprio even like wanting to be involved or do something with it, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Hold on. Wait a minute. Looking at a headline.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, okay. This headline is from May 2019. So the world has changed since then.
What do you mean? How so?
So the Hollywood Reporter, Taika Waititi's Akira sets a release date of May 21st, 2021.
Wow.
So yeah.
Not quite.
So I don't know. Was this going to be a live? Yeah, I guess this was supposed to be a live action one.
Mm-hmm.
Leo DiCaprio.
I think we actually talked about this like when we were still doing the podcast with David a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think this was the one that Taika like he really wanted to do, but it got pushed because of him getting fired from Thor and then getting rehired.
Wait, he was fired from Thor?
Or not fired. Or oh no. Never mind. I'm confusing.
I think of
Guardians
James
director.
Gunn. James Gunn.
Yeah, James Gunn.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. But yeah. So yeah, that's the last headline I see of anything involving an Akira adaptation or movie or whatever. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just remember hearing that in the pipeline and like, I wonder what happened to that.
Yeah. Bebop, the Netflix, the live action version of Bebop is also getting a comic run to tie in with it too, and a prequel novel apparently. So I guess some comic art was just released, some cover art, and it's clearly John Cho as Spike. But that'd be cool. So tonight marks the first time that Meg and I have purchased comics in several years.
Wow.
Because we had to stop the habit because we realized how much we were spending and not even getting through them anymore because it takes us forever to get through stuff. But there was, I'll link this to you guys in the chat, some pretty gorgeous cover art for the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy limited series, the one that's going to tie into the show.
Okay.
So
the HBO show?
Yeah, so the Harley Quinn animated show, so they're in between seasons now. Season 3 is in the works, or they're in production right now. And a while back they announced this short run comic. I think it's only going to be like 6 issues or something like that, but it's bridging the gap of the story between season 2 and 3. So spoilers if you haven't watched all the way through Harley Quinn season 2.
Well, then shame on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on me. I should have by now.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
But
man.
it's okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Okay. Well, if you're involved, if you're familiar with any of the comic history of Harley and Ivy, like they've been like this, a couple in many different iterations, in comics and animated and whatever. So that's where the story of the show leads up to. And this short run comic series is called Harley Quinn, the Eat, Bang, Kill Tour. The story kicks off right where season 2 ends, and then apparently we'll roll into season 3. But yeah, I happened to see, just while scrolling through all the headlines, this beautiful cover art. It's a variant cover for the #1 issue, which it's going to be released sometime in September. I forget what the exact drop date is, but it's available for pre-order right now. And I showed Meg and she's like, oh, I need that.
The artwork reminds me of, there was another short-lived series. I forget what it was called, but there was one iconic panel that showed Bruce Wayne's dong that we were sure to snag. So what was that called? It was like Batman Death or something like that. Let me see if I can find it.
Bat dong?
I mean, no, but he dropped dong. He full on.
Old Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
Batman After Dark.
Batman After Dark.
Batman Black Shoe Diaries.
Bat dong. Bat dong.
That's probably a real life porno that exists.
Bat dong. Oh, I'm sure. Has to be.
Oh, that's it. Batman Damned. That's what the one.
Damned. All right.
Damn. And then you go, damn, Bruce.
Damn. Yeah, it's with a bunch of A's.
There was just a meme that went around on Reddit the other day, and then that brought up the one of the Batman animated shows where Harley Quinn basically rapes Nightwing.
I think I remember hearing about that one too. Yeah.
Yeah, Harley Quinn has Nightwing captured, and she has him duct taped to a bed, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sweaty. I've got to change my outfit." So she goes over to a cabinet and takes off her clothes, and then she turns around and realizes, I haven't had sex in forever, and Nightwing's sitting there trapped on the bed.
This is a comic or animated?
This is an animated film, one of the DC animated films.
Wow. That's bold of them.
That was how long ago was this made? Because I feel like that might not pass.
It wasn't actually that long ago.
Wow.
God, guys, I have had it. This is 2021. When will we stop being victimized for the female gaze?
Oh my god. That's the man that just bought a cover of two girls going at it.
Because you demanded it.
Yeah, that sounds like
That's
something
beside
you
the
would-
point.
You're part of the problem, Meg. Get
I'm a
woke.
traitor to my own
blink twice if you need us to come get you.
Oh man, there was a quick little headline I saw about the Book of Boba Fett series coming. Robert Rodriguez, who is, I believe, producing, he's one of the executive producers as well as directing several of the episodes. He was basically just going off as his own fanboy. There was a quote from him. Where is it? I got it here. I can't say anything about it at all right now, but it's coming out in December. Wait until you see what's coming. It's going to blow your mind. That's all I can say. I can talk it up all I want because I know it over delivers. It way over delivers. People are going to be so pumped when they see it. So I believe him.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. We got a lot of stuff coming up quick. That's December.
Have they announced the third season of Mandalorian as well yet?
Yeah, they're working on that now, and I think it's due towards the beginning of next year.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Rangers of New Republic still is canceled at this point.
Yeah.
As far as we know.
Yeah, no
And
word on it.
Ahsoka is slated for end of next year.
That same actress, I'm blanking on her name right now. Rosario Dawson, is she still?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yep.
Very cool.
That is Rosario's show.
Mhm.
That's going to be good times. And in the meantime, CinemaCon. Todd, you had mentioned this earlier. This happened this past week at Caesar's Palace in Vegas. So I didn't really know what CinemaCon was about, but I guess it's just at first I thought it was a Sony event because I saw a lot of Sony news, and then I guess it's just in general, just all the movie houses that participate, just showing off their up and coming stuff. So a lot of big highlights here. The Matrix 4, which is officially titled
Resurrections.
Resurrections, yeah. The Matrix Resurrections. They showed a trailer, a fresh trailer for the audience. It has not been revealed officially online yet, but there are lots of descriptions. It seems that the movie is starting out, or at least from the clips that they showed, Neo in every day. I don't know if he's under his OG name. What was it?
Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, yeah. Donald Anderson or David Anderson or whatever his name was. I don't remember. Yeah. But he's like talking to a psychiatrist. He's talking to a shrink about how he's been having dreams about this other world that he seems to vaguely remember or something. It's like his memory's been wiped, and almost like if he's plugged back in for some reason. So he's alive, but he's plugged back into the Matrix somehow. So it seems, because he's talking about how he's had these visions, whatever. He passes by somebody on the street or like at a coffee shop or something, like, hey, have we met? And it's Carrie Ann Moss. It's Trinity. But they're in regular street clothes. They don't know who each other are and everything. And it goes off from there with just a bunch of, splashy action, Matrixy action, paying nods to the original where he's stopping bullets and stuff. So, but yeah, I guess people were pretty psyched about that.
In the end of that series, I'm trying to think, because I love the first one. The second two I was kind of like hit or miss on. Did Lawrence Fishburne, did Morpheus survive at the end?
Yes.
He did, right?
Yeah, he did.
I think he's the only major character that did survive.
Right? Technically, I don't really know what happens to Neo. He's just kind of carried out and away, but...
Yeah, I know. I think they made it clear that Neo and Trinity were dead.
Trinity got washed, so for sure, her.
Yeah, she died in the accident.
She was a leaf in the wind. Yeah, for sure.
But Neo could obviously have been carried on in the Matrix.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of gave him like god level powers at that point, so they could explain it away anyway. Like maybe he didn't need a mortal form anymore. Like he could just live on in the machine or something. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming. But we'll see.
Yeah. Was it still the Wachowskis with this one as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one Wachowski. For some reason, Lana Wachowski returned. I forget her sister's name. But yeah, I don't know why. I haven't looked into it, but it's only credited to Lana Wachowski this time. But don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, seemed to get the approval of the audiences at CinemaCon. There was also a little bit more footage they revealed for the Batman movie, The Batman, which is Matt Reeves is inspired by the Year One comic. And I guess there was a bit of like just a promo reel with Matt Reeves just talking more about how it's supposedly going to be radically different from the other Batman movies we've seen. Very
Dark and gritty.
Yeah, I know you said dark and gritty, which okay. We've never seen that before.
Never.
No.
Watch, they go like full comedy, like slapstick comedy.
So he made a point talking
we'll get
about
live action Batman dong.
Batman dong. Robert Pattinson's the type I think he would do full frontal. Did he in that Lighthouse movie? I forget.
No, I think his butt was shown.
Yeah.
Which is considered scandalous nudity for a dude.
Yeah. Yeah, just him and Willem Dafoe just going insane and farting up a storm in the lighthouse. It was such a weird movie. But I enjoyed it though. It was bizarre but good. But yeah, we'll see. Oh, there was people were excited because I guess there was a slightly updated version of the trailer we already saw from last year's DC Fandom event. And there's a bit more action involving Catwoman. Zendaya's Catwoman is introduced in this one. So we'll see.
I forgot that was happening.
Yeah, me too.
Zoe Kravitz, I thought was going to be. That's just in the Batman, though, right?
Oh, maybe I'm mixing up. Was it?
I think it's Zoe.
I think it was Zoe Kravitz was in the Batman. Zendaya's, Spider-Man, and I think she's hard locked into that one.
You're right. I think I'm mixing them up.
Okay.
Zoe Kravitz. Yeah, you're correct. My bad. Yeah. Another one that I completely forgot was happening from Sony, from their leg of the World of Spider-Man, the Morbius movie with Jared Leto. So if you haven't had enough Jared Leto yet, he is playing the vampire Morbius, which that was honestly one of my favorite storylines from the 90s cartoon. That's just for some reason that whole set of episodes always has stuck with me of the vague memories I have of the 90s cartoon. So I am curious how this comes out, but apparently the little bit of footage that they revealed, which again has not been made available publicly yet, but seemed to leave an overwhelmingly positive impression with people that saw it. So
I mean, they did their own standalone Venom, so maybe this could be another one of those, villains that just does their own thing. So
I was pleasantly surprised by that Venom movie. I'm excited for Let There Be Carnage. Oh, and also probably the big drop, Sony surprised audiences with a full screening of Ghostbusters Afterlife. And again, incredibly positive reviews. People are basically saying oh, this is the sequel that we've been waiting for 30 freaking years. So that's good. Jurassic World Dominion, which is the end all be all of the Jurassic movieverse supposedly. But there was they revealed, I don't know if they revealed. No, yeah, they did have some actual footage and then a big promo reel of all the cast, what they're calling the legacy cast from, the original Jurassic Park movies, and then the new cast with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard and them, just all talking about what a great experience it has been and how this is tying the entire story all together to a conclusion. Laura Dern said it was the way it came together was better than any of them could have ever hoped for. So she's thrilled that, where the story's going and stuff. And then they did have a few brief clips of footage, dinosaurs running through the streets. Think there was a repeat from the end of the last movie, because once the dinosaurs are released, especially the big, I don't know what it's called, but the big underwater one, it looks like it's about, yeah, and you see like the shadow of it. It starts to reveal itself coming through a wave as like it's basically about to chomp on some surfers.
Yeah.
So I think there was a repeat of that shot. There's a T-Rex in a city again, just like Lost World. And that was another cool tidbit. They mentioned how they're continuing to do as much practical as they can combined with the visual effects later on. So they did have a full T-Rex on set in camera for the actors to interact with. So that's rad.
Is poor San Diego gonna get wrecked again?
San Diego, yeah.
Can't catch a break.
At least there's no Blockbuster anymore to wreck. Yeah. And then
I'll build one.
build one, yeah. And here's a weird one. Don't know. Maybe you might be excited for it. I am morbidly curious. The title of this film is The Unbearable Weight of Tremendous Talent.
Oh, opening night, I'm going to see that. Are you kidding me?
This is a Nicolas Cage film.
Biopic.
Starring Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage. I guess like a fictional version of himself, or it's really hard to, you can't really judge. There's no dividing line anymore, really. It's just Nick Cage being Nick Cage in this film. And apparently he's, they showed a first trailer, again, hasn't been released online yet, but he, as Nick Cage, he's seeing his career like entering a drought. His, the acting opportunities are drying up, and he's
Your life?
yes. There's no either or, it's just yes. And so he's kind of like, it's seeming like he's going to call it quits, and then he gets a call for some paid appearance to go at like the bottom rung, like a freaking birthday party for a super fan or something like that, and he just goes because it's money. And it turns out the super fan is Pedro Pascal.
Wow.
Our Mandalorian. And he apparently loves Nick Cage's work so much. He has replicas of the guns from Face Off in his house, and it's like chaos and hijinks ensue from there. And there's a storyline of like Pedro Pascal's character is supposedly actually a wanted drug lord. And so somebody recruits Nick Cage to help like bring him in. So it's like a sting operation or something. This
sounds amazing.
I
want to see this even more now that I have those details. I was already in. You had my interest. Now you have my attention, Nicolas Cage.
Sold me at Nick Cage.
There you go.
Yeah.
And now you've given me what it's about.
Yeah. Oh, Tiffany Haddish. Tiffany Haddish is a CIA agent who talks him into, the operation. So bringing in Pedro Pascal's character. So
I mean,
this is bonkers, and I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Top Gun sequel, Top Gun Maverick. They showed the first 13 minutes to the crowd at CinemaCon. Everybody loved it. There's a whole storyline with Maverick going into a test plane, like one of those like super sleek looking stealth. Thank you. Yeah, stealth planes, like trying to hit like Mach 10 or something like that, and like leads to some spectacular crash. And he's at some like roadside diner, all covered in dust, and like, where the hell am I? And some little boy says, "Earth." Like cutesy little thing.
He was a big driving force in making sure Val Kilmer actually would reprise his role in some way in that. So that was, I don't know the extent that there's, throat surgery, what he can do, but I'm glad to know he's going to be in it some way or another. So yeah,
I was wondering the same. Apparently Val Kilmer actually revealed that in his there was the documentary that came out about him right now on Amazon just in the last few weeks, which I've been meaning to watch. But I think he actually wrote it in his memoir that got released not too long ago as well. Basically, that initially the producers did not call on him to reprise his role, but Tom Cruise was adamant. He's like, no, we're not doing a sequel without Iceman. Yeah. So he pressed to get him in there. So that's pretty rad. think, is that it from CinemaCon? At least all that I thought about seeing. There was a little bit more footage for Halloween Kills. Jamie Lee Curtis had a little presentation there, just talking about her whole experience of the whole franchise and everything, and how it was fun to finally bring it to a close with. Well, we're getting the second one in this new trilogy, Halloween Kills, this October, and then next October will be the end of the whole saga. Halloween Ends.
Okay.
So, at least for now, until somebody reboots it again. Yeah. And then another big one, Dune, of course. They had a big sizzle reel for that. Tons of the cast. And I keep forgetting how all the big names in the cast. Freaking Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, Zendaya again, Oscar Isaac again, Timothy Chalamet, David
Batista.
Dave Batista, and also David Dasmalchian. I always forget how to say his name. Right. Polka Dot Man, Rebecca Ferguson, Javier Bardem, and even more. But you know, there's
Skarsgård. The Skarsgård dad is in it. Stellan Skarsgård.
A Skarsgård or two. Yeah, just toss them in there. But yeah, they were just talking about how thrilled they were to be on the project. I think David Dasmalchian was saying like he was just going nuts when he arrived on set. These massive practical sets that they built and crazy attention to detail for the world and the lore and everything. He was just like jaw dropped and excited like a kid to be there.
There talks about them doing a trilogy, which I hope they do, because the first 3 books are amazing. So
is this is just book 1 that they're doing right now?
As far as I know, yeah. I haven't heard anything. I mean, obviously we'll see when it comes out and we can watch it. But there's enough in Dune 1 to have it be, a standard.
Oh yeah, it's a massive book.
Sure there is, yeah.
The David Lynch original. So
yeah. And they show just a few quick little action pieces, little clips. But the big one that wowed everybody was the sandworm attack, the big sandworm sequence. So yeah, again, can't find it online yet, but we'll see. But then again, I kind of don't want to see anything else for this one. I want to wait till the theater to enjoy it as much as possible. And that is another one that's a Warner Brothers day one exclusive or day one streaming as well as in theaters. But that one I think is going to be a theater worthy one for sure.
Is it even going to theaters? I think it's a day one exclusive. I think that
it's going to be in theaters.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be streaming as well day one on HBO Max, but the director was like basically like, you got to see this in theaters, man. Yeah.
It's funny because even I think David Lynch spoke up and was even saying how it's just you'll never experience it the same way watching it at home, and tried to stick to his guns about that.
Yeah. I mean, from what we've seen just from the trailers alone, and I mean, the director, Dennis did Blade Runner 2049. So that's enough. Like, that's all I need to hear. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to see those visuals on a damn theater screen. And one little more bit from Tom Cruise. He also had his Mission Impossible 7 video played at the CinemaCon there. They had a little presentation, and there was a behind-the-scenes video with
him ranting at people for not following COVID protocol.
Yeah, it was just him like finger pointing, screaming into the camera, like directly into the audience at CinemaCon. You wear your fucking masks. I would give him props for that if he did that, actually. But no, Chris McQuarrie, the director, we just was talking about everything they've gone through, like trying to get these last 2 films, because it's 7 and 8 that they're doing back to back, but they've of course wrapped on 7. But the big feature of this video featurette that they showed was the next big set piece stunt. Like, how is Tom Cruise going to try to kill himself this time? And so the answer is a motorcycle jump off of a cliff and then free diving until a last minute parachute deployment. And
so he's Evel Knievel.
Pretty much, yeah. And they filmed the thing from a million different camera angles. They released, in fact, I think they released the jump on Twitter. Oh, I thought I had the link. I'm sure you could Google it really quick, but It's crazy to see. They film it from all sorts of angles so you can see everything that happens. The first one is from a nearby adjacent cliff, so you just see a side shot of him going up this giant like X Games style ramp, like a mega ramp, and he just motorcycles right the fuck off of it, lets the motorcycle drop away, and he's just free falling, just diving. And it shocked me at first because from this adjacent cliffside, he just disappears down beneath the cliff. And you're like, holy crap, where'd he go? And then you see the other alternate angle from where you can see him actually fall, and there's like tons of air that he's catching down below there to the adjacent cliffs and everything into this giant like canyon. And seems like too many seconds go by before he finally deploys that parachute. But I guess in the extended version, the extended cut of this behind the scenes footage, which they showed at CinemaCon, on Twitter, you just see the jump and him descending on the parachute. But at CinemaCon, he lands and immediately he's like, you know what? I can hold on to the bike longer. Like once he hits air, he's like, I can hold on to the bike longer. Let's do it again. And so they did it another 5 times.
Jeez Louise.
Because that's Tom Cruise.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Oh God. It's friggin' nuts. But yeah, he said it was his favorite stunt to do. He's been wanting to do this particular one since he was a kid, probably since he watched Evel Knievel do something similar. Yeah, it's nuts. But I mean, give the guy props. He's does amazing shit.
It's like those movies have been consistently good, like I've enjoyed them. So, and Haley Atwell's in this newest one, I believe. So that gives me even more reason to watch it.
Yeah, I think they said she was also in the behind the scenes video. Her and him like driving around in a car, and there was another like brief like car chase stunt that they did or something. But yeah, excited for that one. And I think the last one I had from CinemaCon was the Uncharted movie. A little bit of footage there, which hasn't been released online yet. There was Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg as Nate and Sully investigating like some sort of cave, some tropical setting or something, typical Uncharted style feel to it. And then like a smash cut over to a crazy action sequence with Tom Holland as Nate like falling out of a cargo plane or something.
Of course, yeah, true Uncharted fashion.
Yeah, good old Uncharted. So I'm getting more excited for that one. When they first announced Tom Holland and that it'd bring a prequel and stuff, I was like, oh man, I don't know, but I think they're gonna deliver. So we'll see. Oh, actually, one more, last one from CinemaCon that I saw anyway. Director of John Wick, David Leitch. I don't know how you pronounce his name. So directing another little fun movie called Bullet Train, which is actually an adaptation of an old manga. What it sounds like, Brad Pitt is getting his own John Wick movie because everybody is now getting their John Wick moment to shine. But it's not it's not the same like, oh, somebody wronged him and he's a super assassin, whatever.
They killed his cat. Now he's got to kill everybody.
Yes. No, this is the sort of, oh, what was that really fun one from a while back? A bunch of bounty hunters after one dude, like holed up in a Vegas hotel.
Smoking Aces.
Yeah, I love that one. This sounds similar, except it's on a bullet train. So they're all like on their separate assignments and having to travel from here to there, wherever. And as they're on the train, they realize all their assignments are overlapping or conjoined somehow. They're all after the same guy, or somehow it's all connected. So they're all fighting each other for the prize. So it sounds fun.
Yeah, that does sound very Smoking Aces-esque. So
yeah,
just don't watch the direct-to-DVD sequel to Smoking Aces.
I think I tried that once, and I was able to muscle through it, but never again.
Never again. Well, hey, speaking of muscles, so Dave Bautista is a force of a man. Mm-hmm. Meg and I finally watched Army of the Dead.
It was garbage.
I mean,
I told you.
I'm sorry that you wasted your time. And
I tried to warn you.
It was fine. It was.
Is it though?
No.
I mean,
better idea. Much like Justice League, better idea than the execution. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see.
It was garbage.
I wouldn't call it garbage, but it was an okay zombie movie, but whatever.
It's okay to say it was garbage, Tony.
Oh, okay, right. Well, here's what probably won't be garbage. I will watch the shit out of this. So Dave Bautista is such a force of a man that he just wills movies to happen at this point. So it was reported that I guess this past week he sent out a tweet, or he was in an interview or something where he was just mentioning how he would love to do a good old Lethal Weapon buddy cop movie. And specifically, he'd love to do it with Jason Momoa. And within a matter of hours or days, both of them had been interviewed about it. Jason Momoa was on he was on James Corden, and then his phone wouldn't stop ringing off the hook with the studios. So Dave Bautista basically just tweets out like, hey, this would be fun to do sometime. And like, boom, it just happens. So, there was a quote from Jason Momoa. He said, it's amazing. You try to work your whole career to get an opportunity like this. And he just tweets something and boom. And then I get asked about it on Corden, and now our phones won't stop ringing. So it's safe to say that this one is happening. And he's talking about Bautista. He said he did text me first, which shows how respectful he is. And I was like, hell yeah, tell me where to sign. I'm in. And then it turns out he just tweeted it right after getting his approval, and then it went viral. So he's like, all right, well, that was easy. Let's do it, buddy. So in the near future, we may be getting Lethal Weapon starring, or a Lethal Weapon-esque buddy cop movie with Dave Bautista and Jason Momoa. So yeah, sweet.
I could see myself watching that just based on the information we have solely now. So yeah.
A little bit over in the DC Comics world. There's a little bit of an old story, maybe the week prior, but I don't think we talked about in the last podcast. So we talked all about Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey. Not sure if Margot Robbie's going to continue with the Harley character, if they're going to keep going down that route. But Warner Brothers and DC seem to change their whole, like the DC universe plans every other day.
Pretty well.
But it was announced that a sort of spinoff from the Birds of Prey movie, Black Canary movie, is happening at HBO Max with Journey Smollett, who played that character.
If I'm not mistaken, she was also in Lovecraft Country, right? Was that her as well? Right.
I still haven't seen that one. I heard good things, but then unfortunately they did not get a season 2, I guess.
Well, I think the series wraps up because it's based on a novel. Just wraps up the novel, and it's in its entirety.
Okay. So did it feel like they ended it with a solid ending?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I love the first episode or first 2 episodes. It was super solid, and then whatever one I watched next, probably the second or third. Just I don't know. It was a kind of a departure, and I just didn't get the same vibe, and almost lost interest. I mean, I guess I did because I've never gone back and watched the rest.
Okay.
So, I've heard it's hit or miss. They can be really good. So one of these days, I'm probably going to go back and just give them all a watch to finish out the series. But
yeah, I think May and I have that on our to get around to list. Eventually we'll binge it.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, Kang, the gentleman, I forget his name, who plays Kang, is in that as well.
Jonathan Majors. Jonathan Majors. Yeah.
And yeah, he did well in, the episodes that I watched, they both did. So I'm glad they're both, doing more.
Cool. Yeah. I personally really enjoyed that Birds of Prey movie. Like I heard some people loved it. Some people were like meh about it. I personally thought it was one of my favorites out of the current DC movies. It was fun. But I guess it underperformed at the box office. It was COVID times. That was one of the early COVID releases, I think. And so the Gotham City Sirens movie that had been in development for a while has apparently been put on hold. So, but they're doing this Black Canary movie instead, I guess. And also one of my favorites from that Birds of Prey movie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, was interviewed recently this past week. And she said she is super down to play the Huntress again. She loves the character. She got word that the Black Canary movie is happening. She's super excited for that. No, it doesn't seem like she's a part of it, or at least she's not saying, so don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I hope they do continue with that arm of that, the DC world, because I really enjoyed it.
I mean, just to talk about that movie real quick. I mean, I really liked Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. I thought he did a pretty good. He's a solid, actor and can do a villain role. And I didn't learn until actually pretty recently, but that both him and Mary Elizabeth Winstead are like a couple in real life. So I wonder if that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. In fact, I think they just had a kid. I think she just had a kid this past year.
Could be.
Yeah. Another random movie news. We got an update from Kevin Smith on the set of Clerks 3. Pretty cool. They're specifically recreating some shots from the first movie. So he had like the dailies in the monitor, and then right above it, a little cell phone playing Clerks, the original. So it's all in black and white, and it's Dante and Randall, with Randall kind of like slouched next to the front counter as Dante's behind it. I think it's when they're talking about the conspiracy behind the Death Star, or the idea that like, hey, those rebels killed a bunch of like innocent contractors and shit. It's that moment.
They knew what they were getting into.
Yeah. So they recreate that exact shot, and he's slouching there. It's like perfect, like the frame for frame. But they said this was a few days ago, but Kevin Smith, they said he was almost done filming. Like they were just a few days from wrapping. And yeah, it's just all positive and all excitement. Like everybody's just been having a blast. So I'm really excited for that one. Yeah. Which, by the way, if you're ready to feel old, August 24th, I believe it was just 5 days ago, was the 20th anniversary of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh my God. I thought you were going to say Clerks of Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob. Yeah. What was supposed to be their grand finale.
Yeah.
is now 20 years in the past.
Oh man, did any of you see the newer one that they put out, the Jay and Silent Bob reboot? I think it was that.
That was pretty much garbage as well.
That unfortunately, that was a miss. Not my favorite either. Like I was, that's one that even me, that I try to be the most positive one in the room, and I was like, this is not the best. There's like a tiny bit of love there for the nostalgia and everything, but they could have just skipped that one and gone to Clerks 3. I think Todd and I have had conversations about this before. I think the Clerks movies out of the whole View Askew universe seem to hit the mark very well. They seem, to me at least, they seem the least forced, because of like the emotional core of it is, Kevin Smith is, he was working in a freaking convenience store as a kid and just like had enough and started shooting his little film, and boom, there's his career and the rest of his life. And so even with Clerks 2, when I think of like then the later View Askew universe, which is now 2006 was Clerks 2. Even that, like that's those Clerks 1, Clerks 2, and Dogma, just because it's so fun and great, are the most memorable out of the whole Askew universe to me.
They didn't do many of them, but have either of you seen Clerks, the animated series?
Yes, I have it on DVD.
I love that as well. That's one of my favorites.
That's maybe 10 episodes or something, but
I thought it was only like 4, I think. I don't even think it's that many.
No, I think they had to, maybe they only aired 4.
Okay.
But yeah, I've got the DVD set, and I think they squeaked out, they produced at least one small season or half season or something.
Okay.
It's been years since I watched that. I have to watch it again. But
yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, another one, by the way. This November, the first Harry Potter movie, also 20 years.
Jesus.
Yep.
Oh, there were 6 episodes. That's how many.
6? Oh, okay. All right. All I remember is that guy popping in like, hey, can you guys vulcanize my tires while I wait?
Who drive car? Bear drive car. That's
why is Bear driving?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Jay. I'm Silent Bob. And I'm Charles Barkley. The hell are you doing here? He just walks away all sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. A couple horror movie headlines. I completely forgot this was a thing, but apparently there's a Candyman remake in the theaters.
Just came out, I think, this weekend, right?
Yeah, produced by Jordan Peele. I forget who the director is. I didn't catch the name. But apparently it had a pretty damn big opening, especially for horror movies, which usually don't open as well, except for the few exceptions that, blow everybody out of the water. And also for the pandemic, 22.3 million for the opening weekend.
I'm not big into horror, but I do like what I can gauge from the premise of this is that it's not like a reboot either. It's just continuing the series from way back when, but it's like giving it a more modern beat and an updated take on it, which I think is a really cool way of doing it.
Yeah. Tony Todd does briefly reprise his role as the original Candyman, and Virginia Madsen, who was the lead his co-lead in the original. But it also focuses on a newer cast and kind of how the legend continues to, the curse of the Candyman continues to mess with people to this day. So, but yeah, I'm intrigued. I'll check out that one eventually. Anya Taylor-Joy is apparently starring in a Nosferatu remake, which is going to start filming next year.
She looks like a vampire.
I could see that. Yeah.
Could definitely see that, yes. Well, I don't know if she's going to be the Nosferatu, but yes, she's pale enough to pass for it, sure. And the two final film headlines I saw, I saved these for last because they're the most bonkers to me. Well, besides the Nick Cage one, Beverly Hills Cop 4 is actually happening. That is a go at Netflix. And yes, Eddie Murphy is returning as Axel Foley.
You gotta have Eddie Murphy.
I actually rewatched those a couple of months ago, and they surprisingly hold up.
They do.
Here's the question though: is Judge Reinhold going to be reprising his role? Because if not, then I'm not. I can't.
Yeah, you can't support this.
Yeah, Judge Reinhold got to be back. The directors, actually, co-directors, same guys who did. And this is one on my list that I have to get around to. I actually heard really great things about it. Bad Boys for Life, that final Bad Boys film.
It was all right.
I heard that was really solid. Yeah. So
I couldn't get through it.
Oh, really? Oh,
it was too boring for me.
Okay. I got a weird soft spot for the Bad Boys movies. It was just the first one, especially, like that was like a VHS tape that I wore the fuck out. Just
I still say Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry. Yeah. So I hear people like to this day from the second movie, which I think was one of the more forgettable one, but the woo-saw, the calming mantra that Martin Lawrence's character gets from his therapist, like woo-saw, you're supposed that's what you repeat to yourself to calm down. Random people mention that to this day, and I'm wondering, do you even know where that's originally from? Or is that just part of the lexicon now? Like it's part of the ether? I don't know. But Adil, sorry if I'm butchering these names, Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falal, co-directors of Bad Boys for Life, are going to direct Beverly Hills Cop 4 at Netflix. So we will see. And last but not least, I just caught wind of this today as I was gathering podcast news. I'm just going to say the title. Cocaine Bear.
Go on.
Go on.
Yes. And?
Are you going to?
I am intrigued.
Elizabeth Banks directing this 1980s set thriller based on a real life story.
Oh, yeah.
In which a black bear overdosed on cocaine on a drug smuggler's coke and ran amok.
Sold.
Yeah. So that's happening. This is a project at Universal. Universal Studio has not released an official date yet or trailer or anything. They just start. That was the headline. They just started. It was the first day of shooting the other day. Producer, Christopher Miller is producing, and he posted an image of the clapboard, which shows just the title, which I will link in the chat here for you guys.
And
it's just
actually,
just the title graphic on the clapboard is 80s tastic. Like it looks like a retro wave YouTube channel. So they're like, yeah, expect this sort of vibe in Cocaine Bear the movie.
I mean, that's a pretty cool graphic, I have to say. I love that. I don't know, would you call it a font or I don't know.
I'm intrigued. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, I'm curious now. That has piqued my interest. So
Whew, and that was a lot. We are at an hour and 30, guys. That was a ton of movie news. thanks to CinemaCon this week. I do have a little bit of gaming. Todd, you actually showed me something pretty fantastic the other day. Andrew, did you catch wind of Marvel Midnight Suns?
I just heard about this today. I was going to watch a preview, but with my daughter's birthday party, I got kind of sidelined. So fill me in, please.
Oh, well, important things at hand, Andrew. Come on.
I'm sorry. I know. I've let you down and myself.
Todd, why don't you take this one? Tell us about Marvel Midnight Suns.
So, Marvel Midnight Suns is created by the studio that created XCOM. Well, not created. They've rebooted and they did XCOM, XCOM 2, and then XCOM Chimera Squad. They are taking our beloved Marvel characters and throwing some of them that should not be in there, but that's neither high nor that's not the point. They're throwing a lot of characters into the group called the Midnight Suns, and they're fighting a supernatural threat in a Marvel tactical combat-based video game. And the trailer looks bonkers.
Yeah, I just sent a link in the chat. It looks like. Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I was going to say, this seems very reminiscent of, I forget what the title was, but like Marvel Ultimates or something like that, where like you put together like a 4-person group of this whole litany of characters, and you go through these different stages for this overarching story. But I cannot remember the title of those games for the life of me. But
Was it Ultimate Alliance?
Yes, thank you, Ultimate Alliance. Yeah, is it reminiscent of that at all, or?
I didn't play Ultimate Alliance, so I really couldn't say.
Okay.
But it's if it's based on the rules of the XCOM franchise, which they do very well, it's going to be like tactical turn-based.
Okay.
You get a squad of, I don't know, however many, maybe 4, maybe 6 of the characters, and you go through your mission, and you have like random chances to do things based on certain criteria, and you get punished if you're over aggressive and you're not careful and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like from the story that I gathered in the trailer, it's all of the heroes are facing some insane, like, apocalyptic threat, and so they unearth their own, like, some sort of ancient goddess or something like that. At least it looks like some sort of like Egyptian goddess, or I'm not sure if it's a brand new character or something that's baked in comics lore. But
I think it's a new character, and then her daughter is the like audience stand and is also a new character.
Seems like they wake up their own like dangerous god to fight whatever they're facing, and then you see in the trailer they get all like souped up with like some sort of glyphs, like hieroglyphics all over them. They get kind of like super charged up with powers feeding off of her, and then they just go to town.
Yeah, the one image I saw had Wolverine in like a full getup that seemed really, really interesting. So
yeah, the uniforms are all completely different and stylized to fit the Midnight Suns theme rather than their traditional costumes.
Yeah. There was also another one that I saw people kind of talking about. This is a mobile one, a mobile action RPG, Marvel Future Revolution.
Yeah, I don't put stock in anything mobile. Don't bother playing.
Yeah, I usually don't bother with mobile games, but I saw a quick review, an article talking about how it's like basically the level of fun and creativity that the Marvel Avengers game should have been. But I guess it's a lot better. So like an action RPG or kind of like an MMO RPG on mobile.
They had one of those for a while that I actually tried a bit. It must be the precursor to this one. And it was fine, but it was kind of the same thing. You got to, play every day. And if you want to, you can spend real money to buy, upgrades and stuff like that. So.
Oh, yeah. I think that was Marvel Heroes.
Sounds right. I don't remember. I played it for like a week and then just got kind of disenfranchised with it. How it was a very cookie cutter mobile game, and I just couldn't do it anymore.
Maybe this is like, okay, we scrapped that and here's the new and improved version.
That's what it seems like. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. My buddy Sean also sent me a Twitch link the other day, and somebody was playing the new Aliens game Aliens Fire Team Elite. So I caught a bit of footage of that. It looks fun. I read a bit of not too great reviews saying like, well, it doesn't have, I mean, everybody wants something different from Aliens franchise. Like
it's not a huge story or a big like delve into the lore or any of that. It's just straight up murdering aliens and that kind of stuff. It's you're playing Left 4 Dead, but in an aliens world.
Yeah, that's what it kind of seemed like. I mean, it looks like passing fun, like it would be kind of fun to play and just, kill a bunch of Xenos. But I guess a couple of the passing reviews I saw were saying how it kind of, the problem with a lot of these aliens games that deal with, that focus on like the Marines and everything, which makes sense for a multiplayer shooter game, but you lose the horror elements with that. You lose the suspense and everything. Like I think the only alien game to date that has such overwhelmingly positive reception was the Alien Isolation, because it was exactly that, just isolated. You are very underpowered and just trying to survive as the one big alien that you're trapped in the space station with, like, follows you relentlessly and can kill you within an instant. Whereas the gameplay that I saw with this dude playing it on Twitch looked like a fun shooter, but that was about it. He sets up some like little automatic turrets to cover this side of the choke point, or whatever. He walks into a giant hangar bay, which obviously the second you walk into it, it's like, oh, this is obviously a firefight's going to take place here. Right. So, and they got the little fun elements. You hear the motion tracker start to, tense you up, little yeah. And then they all just come flooding in like a swarm. But then if you're powered up enough with enough ammo and stuff, then it's not really much of a threat because you're just like mowing them down. So it's like, all right, the dread of the xenomorph isn't really there.
Yeah, this is not isolation. It's definitely more combat oriented. It's definitely more, you kill more Xenos than the one that's chasing you in isolation.
Yeah.
So this is Marines that have dealt with the Xenos before.
Yeah.
This is that kind of game.
Yeah. With games like this, is this a mobile game or is this going to be on like a console or
PC?
It's PC. Okay.
I think there might be a console version of it too, but it's PC for now.
Gotcha. Yeah. It just released on PC.
Yeah, when I think of games like that too, it's like, what's the price point? Is that like going to be a $60 game? Because then that's going to be one of those.
Actually, just a $40 game, which is surprising.
As bad, but then it's still, I don't know, seems high. But that's just, I'm a pretty frugal gamer, so.
Well, for a AAA license, I don't know if this is done by a AAA studio, but Aliens itself is like a AAA style license. Okay. That's a reasonable price point.
PS4.
Okay.
Oh, it is on the PS4 and PS5 as well. $39.99.
Yeah, I don't see any other games by Cold Iron Studios. Mm-hmm. That's the studio that made it. But I mean, Steam reviews are generally a good metric of where a game wants to be, and it's very positive. So 85% of the reviews are very positive.
Oh, okay.
So.
Yeah, maybe I try not to rely on reviews too much because, again, everybody's always looking for something different. But if you're looking for isolation and spooky dread, I'll tell you what I am super pumped for, and I get more pumped every little bit I see it. Metroid Dread is coming for the Switch. And we just got a second trailer drop with a little more spooky fun and footage. The one of the big bad bosses from the OG games, from Super Metroid and Zero Mission, Kraid, the big giant like Godzilla level fat lizard looking dude or whatever. But the Uber fanboys like me were super pumped about that. But again, mainly it's what we were just talking about, what may be missing from that Aliens Fireteam game. The Metroid games are all about very solitary isolation, that isolated, creepy vibe, just going in and investigating a planet that can kill you at every turn. And they're really, we've covered this before in the podcast with the trailers that we're seeing for Metroid Dread. I mean, the name is literally Metroid Dread. But they're introducing new enemies that kind of like that Alien Isolation game. You can only kind of dodge or hinder them for a short while, and they're still going to come after you. And so it really amps up the intensity. So I'm really excited for that. It's a really cool trailer they put out, and that launches in tandem with the new Switch, the improved Switch model on October 8th.
When I first saw the game, I was surprised that they were doing such kind of a retro style of like the side-scrolling sort of, they weren't, or was it the
not like the Prime series?
Yeah, the big Metroid that came out a while ago, like the first-person kind of 3D shooter that a lot of people liked. You think they'd kind of revamp that one?
Yeah,
the side-scroller genre right now has had a sort of renaissance. There's tons of indie titles right now.
Yeah,
there's tons of games that are doing well as that side-scroller retro-looking type game, and people play the shit out of those.
Yeah,
like, I think Super Meat Boy was one of the first to bring it back, and everybody's been trying to copy it. Super Meat Boy and Celeste and that kind of game.
Yeah. Well, this one had been in development or in the works in some form or fashion for like over a decade. So it was meant to come out a long time ago. And Metroid, along with Castlevania, really, I mean, there's a whole genre called Metroidvanias, which, lend itself to, that's what Metroid and Castlevania established, were those 2D side scrollers. So people still, have a demand for those. They wanted to bring this specific title out at the same time at the Nintendo Direct or Nintendo Treehouse, whatever it's called, their online
Nintendo Treehouse of Horrors.
They also announced that they are still working on a Metroid Prime 4. So that one will be the 3D Metroid world.
In other gaming news, I had a bit of news here. So fans of the open world crime RPG are getting a much loved franchise back.
Yeah.
The first time in, let's see, so the first time in almost 10 years, so it'll be 9 years when this comes out, a Saints Row game is coming out finally.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
Really?
Yeah. Saints Row is actually releasing a new game before GTA gets GTA 6. So did you ever play Saints Row at all, Tony?
I watched a friend play it a little bit. I have never, it's one that's, again, it's always been on my list. Oh, maybe I'll get around to it. But
it's not really your style. It's too open-ended RPG-ish, like the GTA games, but it's GTA but bonkers.
Okay.
If GTA was not loosely bound in reality, that's what Saints Row is.
Yeah, that's kind of how it's been described to me.
So the Saints Row, it's just titled Saints Row at this point, but it's effectively Saints Row 6. Comes out next year or February, I believe.
Wow.
So
interesting.
The fact that they were able to keep that one secret for so long, because there weren't even rumors of a new Saints Row game. So that was pretty good.
Oh, how funny. I'm looking at an article about it right now, and it's talking about how the fourth game that began with your character disarming a nuclear bomb as it fell toward the earth and then becoming the president of America with actor Keith David as your vice president.
Yep.
So it's part of the Rick and Morty canon. Eventually he becomes the president. That's hilarious. Wow. I have one final one for games, another 2D one that I just discovered, and I'm super excited. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an old-fashioned pixel art beat 'em up, just like the old school TMNT arcade games.
We talked about this with Byron on the podcast. It's actually the same people that made the TMNT 2 arcade cabinet are making this.
Wow. Fun little piece of news with it. This is the first one out of all of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games where you can actually play April O'Neil. she will actually get in on the beat 'em up fun and has her own set of moves and everything. It said there's literally a move where she drops the mic on the enemy. And of course, just like all the old school brawlers, there's, they've all got their own unique fun animations, like the way they run, the way they fight, the signature weapons. If you stand in one place too long, they're little like, come on, let's get moving, all those little fun bits of the old pixelated scrawlers.
Cool animations.
Yeah, I'm psyched about that one. Does that have a release sometime next year for PC and Switch?
Okay.
Cool.
I could see myself getting that for Switch. I was a big fan of the old Team NT arcade game and Turtles. It was the Turtles Through Time, I think. Was that?
Turtles in Time.
Turtles in Time. I had that for Super Nintendo. I played the crap out of that.
Yeah, that was my jam.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Well, I'm going to have to get a freaking Switch now. I've been holding out for that newer model since that got announced, and I will definitely be getting that along with Metroid. So that's
yeah. That's to go back to one of the first questions. What I've been playing is for my daughter's birthday, we got her one of the new Switch Pokemon games, Let's Go Pikachu. And when she isn't playing that, I've delved back in for a little bit of nostalgia, and it's fun to kind of relive, playing those games for the first time and experience the basically like red and blue version of Pokemon now in 2021.
Yeah,
I was gonna add,
Let's Go Pikachu was a very interesting combination of Pokemon Go and Pokemon Red and Blue.
I didn't get it at first, but yeah, there's not really as much fighting Pokemon. It's all just catching and sending. And like that's what the bulk. I mean, there's still battles with other trainers, but if you really want to level up your Pokemon, like just out in the wild, you just catch Pokemon after Pokemon.
Okay. So kind of a remaster of the OG Red and Blue.
Yeah.
But also incorporating Pokemon Go.
Yeah, so it's the red and blue version, but instead of obviously there's either Pikachu or Eevee are your two kind of starters you can pick. But then all the other starters are available, and in order to really level them up.
Yeah, the biggest change is you don't actually fight wild Pokemon. You capture them like Pokemon Go style.
Yeah.
So you do the whole spinny on the ball and you toss it and you catch Pokemon that way rather than just using an eye, weakening them through a battle and then catching them with a ball.
Cool.
So
we're going to have to get that one.
Oh yeah, that's on the list when we get a Switch.
That is on the list.
It's been on the list for a long time. We just don't have a Switch.
Yeah. Look at that. And then eventually they're releasing the brand new open RPG
Arcturus or something like that.
Something
Arceus.
like that.
Arceus.
Yeah. Rad.
And that had a bit of a controversy with it because the screenshots of it look awful. The open world, the bits of screenshots they've shown of the open world are just like low res, like not very many like foliage and trees and stuff like that. And then the developer came out and said, well, we're working with limited hardware capabilities on the Switch. And then people were like showing side-by-side comparisons with like, look
Breath
at
of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild looks beautiful and there's trees everywhere. And then your game has like 3 trees.
Well, they're still in development. Hopefully they touch it up. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I think that's all of my news too.
Well,
I got a steak to cook. Let's go.
All right, sir. Now I got. Now I just want to play some freaking games like all weekend.
There you go.
Happening. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining again. This is Tony.
This Todd.
This is Andrew.
And Meg.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh yeah, Andrew. Adios, guys.